Hello and welcome to this week's engineering announcements for the radio and television trade. Today, a closer look at a feature of television that's less common than it used to be. John Lovell and Pat Hawker discuss the history of the test card. In transmitter news, further extensions to Channel 4 coverage, and details of two new relays, in Devon, Averton Gifford, and near Leominster, Hope under Dinmore. But first, talking to Pat Hawker, over to John Lovell.
Last month, Pat, was the 30th anniversary of the start of ITV, and next month is the 15th anniversary of the start of this programme, Engineering Announcements. I'm sure many people will have forgotten that in the early days of ITV, the amount of programming was limited, so that for long periods during the day, the test card was being broadcast.
Not only the test card, but in fact, in the very early days, before the transmitters were ready, it was the custom to have a low-power transmitter which was operated by one of the firms interested in aerials. It was a caravan and about a 1 kilowatt transmitter, and this used to put out various patterns, and these used to announce that the stations would be opening, and there would be all sorts of odd test cards and things put out, which I dare say very few of our present viewers can actually remember. But I thought we would show them one or two today.
Now, I presume the purpose of all this was so that dealers and even viewers themselves could set up their television so that come the start of programmes they could be sure of a reasonable picture.
Indeed, but you must remember it was really quite a pioneering work, because up till that time there'd been nothing on the frequencies on band 3. This was up 200 megahertz, which was something like 5 times the higher frequency than the band 1 television to which people had become accustomed. So it was a great deal of worry as to whether people would have decent aerials and would have sets that would do this. I recall even a couple of years later having a converter in front of a band 1 only receiver. This was a thing called a universal converter, but my goodness, it had problems and gave you an awful lot of patterning from breakthrough of the band 1 transmissions.
Mm-hmm. I can certainly remember sort of in the late 50s test card C. This, of course, was on the old 405 line service. There seemed to be many different patterns on it. Is it worth us just talking about what they actually achieved?
Test card C was certainly quite a sophisticated card, which did allow you to check the response of the receiver in many different ways. Particularly in those days, you needed to be able to check the geometry, you needed to be able to check the line pulling, sync pulling and so on. Particularly the multipath, where you had these little single pulses of white or black on a background. So you could really check the performance of the receiver.
And then we came to 625 Ancolor and test card F.
Oh, and the little girl to give you the skin tones and so on. Yes, that was done a long time ago. And of course, the young lady who was, I think, the daughter of one of the BBC engineers, now grown up and married.
And now we've come to the electronic test pattern. The one thing that I notice is missing from that is the circle, which was on all the other test cards. Would you care to comment?
People did complain about the absence of a circle, but on the other hand, it does give you a great deal of tests, particularly things like the cross-hatch pattern for convergence, although again, receivers have so changed that convergence is no longer the sort of problem it was when colour sets first came in. And also, of course, you've got the multi-burst, which shows you the response, and which does prove, unfortunately, how much cross-colour there is almost invariably due to the presence of the colour subcarriers.
Pat Hawker there, talking with John Lovell. And with very little test card now shown on ITV, except very early in the mornings, these are the times when the IBA electronic test pattern is available on Channel 4. Weekdays from 8:30 in the morning until 9, test card and tone. From 9 until 10, test card and music. From 10 until 10:45, in-vision teletext and music. And from 10:45 to 11, test card and music. This hourly cycle, starting at 10 o'clock, with 45 minutes of in-vision teletext followed by 15 minutes of test card is repeated, except that there's no in-vision teletext during the hour in which programmes start. On Saturday and Sunday, test card and music begin at 8:30, continuing until the start of programmes. If you'd like a copy of a leaflet describing the test card, we'll be giving you our address in a few minutes.
Transmitter news now, starting with special announcements. In the Midlands, the changeover to the new mast at Sutton Coldfield means more periods of reduced power working and some short breaks from today until Friday. Viewers in the Midlands can find details on our Oracle Regional Engineering information on page 297 on ITV, on the air daily from 9:25. And the Essex Radio VHF service for the South End area will be on reduced power from today until Friday with some short interruptions. This is while we carry out aerial work in preparation for the frequency change from 95.3 to 96.3 MHz due to take place on the 1st of November. Tomorrow in Scotland, Rumpster Forest will be off between 11:30 and midday to allow mast lights to be changed.
Tomorrow, the Ravenscar relay in North Yorkshire will be off between 9 and 2 for electricity board maintenance. This also affects Aislabie. In the south, the ITV service from Guildford will be off between 10 and 11 tomorrow morning for essential maintenance. On Thursday morning in Sussex, Heathfield is expected to be off between 9:20 and 10 for aerial inspection. And near Oldham, the relay at Dog Hill is due to be off between 9:30 and 10 because of work by the electricity board.
Also on Thursday morning, in Bristol, the Ilchester Crescent relay will be off between 9:30 and 11:30 for an electrical inspection. And the ITV service from the Tunbridge Wells relay will be off on Thursday morning between 9:20 and 10:20 for essential maintenance. Moving north to the Grampian region, Scoville will be off on Thursday between 10 and 2:30 for electricity board maintenance. This will also affect relays on North Uist and South Uist. Also on Thursday on Anglesey, the Amloch relay will be off between 9:30 and 1:30.
On Friday, ITV from the Brighton relay will be off between 11 and midday for essential maintenance. And next Monday, the Biggar relay in Scotland is expected to be off until 4 for aerial maintenance, weather permitting.
New relays next, and in Devon near Kingsbridge, the relay for Afton Gifford is now on the air. The station covers about 400 people in and around Afton Gifford. Programmes from TSW and TVAM are on Channel 66, with Channel 4 on 47. Group E or W aerials are needed, vertically polarised. Afton Gifford is now on the air.
Due on the air later this week, Hope under Dinmore near Leominster. This will extend coverage to about 240 people in and around the village. Programmes from Central and TVAM will be on Channel 60, with Channel 4 on 53. Group CD aerials will be needed, vertically polarised. Hope under Dinmore is due on the air later this week.
Channel 4 next, and 2 more relays on the air. In Shropshire, Ludlow on Channel 49, and near Worthing, Findon on Channel 47. Between them, these 2 relays extend Channel 4 coverage by 5,500. Hope to be on the air towards the end of the week, Oakley Mynd near Bishop's Castle. The channel number here is 42.
Some ILR news now, and it was announced last week that Radio Victory, the Portsmouth contractor, will not have its franchise renewed when it runs out in October 1986. Instead, the new company will be Ocean Sound, and from then coverage will be extended to include the Southampton area. Today sees the second of the frequency changes on VHF resulting from the recent international agreement in Geneva. Radio Mercury has now moved from 103.6 to 102.7 MHz. And there's a new transmitter on test to bring Plymouth Sound on VHF to Tavistock, which has previously received only a medium wave service. Transmissions are in mono on 96.6 MHz, and programmes are due at about the end of the month. Ultimately, Plymouth Sound plans to open a studio in Tavistock for material to be inserted locally.
In the East Midlands, a series of one-day road shows is underway in Derby, designed to promote awareness of Central's East Midlands coverage. The final venue is the Eagle Centre Shopping Precinct next Tuesday, the 29th of October. As with earlier roadshows, our own Tony Harwood will be there to answer reception queries.
That's all for this week. We leave you with our address for technical or reception queries. Engineering Information Service, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Crawley Court, Winchester, Hampshire, postcode SO21 2QA. Our telephone number is Winchester area code 0962 822444. Join us again next Tuesday either at 9:15 or 12:15. From my colleague John Lovell and from myself, Murray Nicholson, goodbye from Crawley Court.